I walked into the lobby with my shoulders still tight from a 14-hour day, boots scuffed from running supply runs and checking units, coat half zipped because I hadn't eaten since breakfast. The place looked straight out of a luxury brochure now, stone fireplace lit, pendant lights casting warm shadows on the reclaimed wood beams, clean lines, modern finishes, everything exactly how I envisioned it. Because I made it that way. 8 months of blood, sweat, and spreadsheets. And then my mom said the words that cracked through it all. Ryan's going to be CEO. Just like that. Like she was announcing the weather, like I was some outside consultant who'd finished his contract. I actually laughed, just once. But it echoed through the damn lobby like a gunshot. What do you mean Ryan will be CEO? She didn't flinch. Just gave me that little wave. Same one she used when I begged for more ice cream as a kid. Like this wasn't a real conversation. You're too detail-oriented, Cole. Ryan sees the big picture, big picture? I swallowed the heat crawling up my neck. She said it like I didn't just rebuild this place from the ground up. And speak of the devil, here comes Ryan, strolling in like he owned the damn world, hands buried in his hoodie pockets like he hadn't ghosted for most of the year. Come on, man, he said, grinning like we were still teenagers playing video games in the rec room. You're good at the day-to-day stuff. Let me handle the vision. The vision. Right. I looked at him, then back at her. My fists weren't clenched, but they might as well have been. I'd missed birthdays, burned through savings, skipped every social event for the last 8 months, so I could keep this place alive. And now they wanted to hand it over to the guy who spent most of the year networking in Denver, which, let's be real, meant sleeping on couches and posting motivational crap on Instagram. I stepped forward. My voice wasn't loud, but it was steady. I'm the one who kept this place from going under. Ryan hasn't earned this. My mom raised a hand like she was cutting off a toddler mid-tantrum. Cole, this isn't about who worked more. It's about long-term leadership. That's when I almost lost it. Almost. But instead, I just turned toward the front doors, my boots hitting the new slate floor I picked out myself. Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I didn't say another word. I just walked straight out into the cold mountain air. I didn't drive far. Just parked halfway up the ridge behind the maintenance shed, where the staff takes smoke breaks and the Wi-Fi barely works. I killed the engine and just sat there, fingers still cold from walking out without gloves. I rewind because maybe you need the full picture. Pinecrest Lodge wasn't just a family business. It was the family. My grandparents broke ground in 1973 with nothing but a loan from a local bank and way too much optimism. I grew up inside those walls, learned to patch drywall before I learned algebra, changed out rusted pipes with Dad on Saturdays. On weekdays, Mom showed me how to balance the ledger and rebook guests when the computer system glitched out. That lodge raised me. Ryan, different story. While I was plunging toilets and learning how to talk down angry guests during power outages, Ryan was in the terrain park trying to land backflips. Changed his college major 3 times. Business, film, then something called digital strategy, whatever that means. Spent a year chasing YouTube clout with a GoPro and a drone he crashed into a pine tree. His idea of hard work was editing ski montages until 3 in the morning. Me? I took the straight road. Studied hospitality management, graduated on time, and climbed every rung the old school way. Worked front desk at a Hilton, ran housekeeping at a resort in Tahoe, then landed director of operations at a high-end hotel group in Dallas. I had a real title, a team, a life. Then the phone rang. It was my dad, and I'll never forget how small his voice sounded. We're gonna lose the lodge, Cole. No sugarcoating, no pride, just panic, just fear. I didn't even pack up. Sold my truck that weekend, broke my lease with a penalty, and cashed out half my retirement. Gone, just like that. I flew home and hit the ground running, because that's what you do when family calls. Or at least, that's what I do. Ryan, he was working on partnerships in Denver. Translation, he was DJing birthday parties for drunk realtors and crashing rent-free at his buddy Trevor's apartment. Said he was building connections. Only thing he built was a playlist and a hangover. He didn't show up to the first meeting I held with the staff. Didn't return emails about the budget. Would breeze in once in a while, slap a few backs, pitch some half-baked branding idea, then disappear again before dinner. Mom kept saying, "He's just wired differently, Cole." Yeah, wired to avoid anything that smells like real work. What burned me wasn't just that I came home to save the business. It was that I left something real behind to do it. My job, my girlfriend, my apartment, gone. And no one asked me to. I just did it because I thought we all cared about this place the same way. Spoiler, we didn't. Next morning, I showed up before sunrise, walked through the side door by the laundry room, and just stood there in the dark, staring at the lobby. The carpet was threadbare, the lighting yellow and depressing, and that hideous floral couch, same one from my childhood, looked like it had fleas. And that was just the lobby. The rooms? Don't get me started. Tube TVs, water-stained ceilings, broken thermostats, and comforters that smelled like basement. The website was 5 years out of date and still had a fax number listed. No online booking, no mobile optimization, no real system, just sticky notes and an Excel spreadsheet Mom barely touched. The place was a joke, so I started with what I knew. Got us a new reservation platform, clean, easy to use, mobile friendly. Trained the front desk staff on how to not sound like robots. Fired the ones who rolled their eyes at guests. Hired younger folks who actually smiled when they talked. Ripped out that nasty couch myself. Hauled it to the dumpster in 2 feet of snow. 7 days a week. No paycheck. Just coffee, cold pizza, and the kind of stubborn energy that kicks in when your pride's on the line. I rewrote every guest email, updated all our listings, made sure we were active on TripAdvisor, Yelp, everything. I worked the front desk during ski season, cleaned rooms when housekeeping was short, sat through plumbing repairs and vendor meetings with my laptop open, still sending follow-ups to travel blogs and Instagrammers. And slowly, it started to change. Bookings went up, first just a trickle, then a real jump. Reviews stopped saying things like, "Smells like grandma's basement." We got a feature in Mountain Stay Weekly, a winter travel magazine I had contacts at from my Dallas days. Locals started swinging by the bar again. We even got a few weddings booked for spring. Staff morale climbed. You could feel it. Less clock watching, more problem solving. We weren't coasting anymore. We were building something, and guests noticed. And Ryan, he started showing up again. Once a month maybe, would breeze in wearing some overpriced hoodie, lean against the front desk, and say things like, "I've been thinking, what if we turned the sauna into a VR gaming space?" I swear to God, I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. He even made a mood board. Meanwhile, Mom and Dad acted like he'd just reinvented the wheel because he convinced an event planner from Boulder to do a site visit. That woman stayed for 2 hours, didn't book anything, and left with a free gift basket Ryan forgot to remove the price tags from. Still, they called it a huge step. I had one-on-one meetings with every department head, launched a loyalty program, cross-promoted with local businesses, got our average nightly rate up 20% without losing guests. Some nights, I'd stay so late I'd fall asleep on the office couch with spreadsheets open and a cold burger in my lap. Wake up, wipe the mustard off my shirt, and do it all again. And they still couldn't see it. The next blow came fast. 2 weeks after Ryan's vibe check meeting, I walked into the back office and found Marie crying into a paper towel behind the supply shelf. I froze. What happened? She wiped her eyes and stood up straight like she hadn't just been gutted. Ryan let me go, said I refused to adapt to his scheduling app. I stared at her. Marie had been with us 15 years. She'd trained every housekeeper we ever had. She ran that department like a drill sergeant, but still brought in cupcakes on people's birthdays. "You're joking," I said. She shook her head, voice tight. Said I wasn't tech forward. I walked straight into the manager's office, shoved open the door, and found Ryan lounging behind Dad's desk like he was running a Silicon Valley startup. "You fired Marie?" I asked. He didn't even look up from his phone. "She wasn't following the new process. Everyone else is adapting." "No, they're not," I snapped. "Because your app doesn't work. It double books shifts and crashes every other day. You nearly left us screwed on a 30-room turnover because no one knew when they were working." He shrugged. "We need to evolve, man." I laughed once. Short. Cold. "She is the system. You're trying to replace the engine while it's still running. She's resistant to change. And you're allergic to actual work." He finally looked up. "Dude, relax." It's just housekeeping. My jaw clenched so hard I thought I'd crack a tooth. I turned around, walked out, found Marie, and told her she didn't deserve this. Not on my watch. Then I pulled every single report I had. Guest feedback, occupancy charts, labor cost comparisons, 5-star reviews, and stormed into the main office where Mom and Dad were meeting. Mom looked up from her laptop. "Cole," I dropped the binder on the desk. "He's gutting this place one dumb decision at a time." She gave me that practiced, patient smile. "Cole, Ryan's trying. He needs room to learn to learn." I pointed at the pages. "You want to talk about learning? I've put in every hour, every dollar, every favor I've got. You think I'm babysitting while he plays CEO?" Dad didn't even glance my way, just stared into his damn coffee mug like it held some divine answer. "Say something," I pushed. He muttered, "Let's not turn this into a thing." A thing. I stared at both of them, heart pounding. They weren't just blind, they were choosing not to see. I walked out, got in my truck, and peeled out of the lot so hard gravel kicked up behind me. Halfway down the ridge, I passed Timber Ridge Resort. The old rival, been shuttered since last season. Owner died, family let it rot. But now, a crisp new for sale sign stood out front, just leaning in the breeze like a dare. I pulled over, stared up at the main lodge. Bigger, better views, closer to the lifts. Spa footprint twice the size of ours. If someone else bought it, Pinecrest would be done. But if I bought it, my hands were already shaking as I grabbed my phone and dialed my banker. "Mike, I'm serious. Line up financing. I'll leverage every contact I've got. No games." That's what I told my banker. 2 weeks later, it was mine. The papers were still warm when I stepped into the Timber Ridge lobby for the first time with keys in hand. Stale air, cracked tiles, and an old moose head mounted crooked above the fireplace. I stood there and grinned. First thing I did, rip that moose off the wall and toss it in the dumpster. I renamed it North Summit. Clean, sharp, forward-facing, no more dusty log cabin nostalgia. We were going modern mountain luxury. I gutted the rooms, rebuilt the spa layout, installed floor-to-ceiling windows in the dining room. While Ryan was slashing breakfast to save cash, I hired the best chef I'd ever worked with, Marcella, from Dallas. Paid her what she was worth and told her she'd have full creative control. That sealed it. Word got out fast. Some people called it betrayal. Said I was sabotaging the family business. Others, they nodded quietly. Handed me resumes. Sarah, our longtime laundry lead at Pinecrest, showed up one evening outside North Summit with a thermos in one hand and her resignation letter in the other. I didn't even ask why. She just said, "I want to work somewhere that isn't being run by a teenager with an ego." I took the letter. "You're hired." A few front desk staff followed, then 2 housekeepers, then the marketing assistant. I never called anyone, never recruited. I just didn't stop them. And Mom, she called me after Sarah left. Voice tight. "No hello. You're breaking this family apart." I didn't flinch. "No, Mom. I'm finally building something of my own." There was silence, then a sharp inhale. "I raised you better than this." "No, you raised me to care about this business. Ryan's the one treating it like a summer job. You think you're the only one who sacrificed? I know I'm the only one who showed up." She hung up. I didn't call back. North Summit became my obsession. I worked 18-hour days, slept 4 hours max, then did it again. But it felt different. This wasn't a rescue mission. It was mine from day one. Every tile, every fixture, every new hire, it had my name stamped on it whether people knew it or not. And it showed. The first round of soft openings, fully booked. Guests walked in, expecting a cheap redo of the old Timber Ridge, and left talking about the food, the views, the staff. People started asking for tours. Influencers messaged us for collaborations. Meanwhile, Ryan was pitching a coffee subscription package to try and claw back lost breakfast revenue. I didn't laugh. I didn't gloat. I just got back to work. Let them talk. Let the town gossip. The difference was, I was building something that could actually last. It unraveled faster than I expected. Pinecrest started bleeding from the inside out. First, the assistant manager quit. Then the bar shut down 3 days a week. Reviews dipped from 4 stars to 3, then tanked even lower. Guests complained about late check-ins, cold food, dirty linens. One review actually said, "This place used to feel like family. Now it feels like a cheap airport hotel. Staff turnover exploded. Even the seasonal hires walked mid-shift. I heard they started slashing rates just to stay half full. Some weekends they barely hit 30% occupancy." Ryan blamed economic headwinds. I called it what it was, amateur hour. Meanwhile, North Summit was on fire, in the best way. High occupancy, repeat guests, local press, travel bloggers posting slow-mo videos of our spa and fire pits. I didn't chase attention, but it found us. Word spread. Our calendar filled out 6 months in advance. Then came grand opening night. We went all out. Past apps, champagne towers, live acoustic music near the fireplace. Real oak logs crackling, guests dressed up. Photographers snapping. Staff in black with name tags that actually spelled their names right. It was everything I wanted Pinecrest to be, and everything it never would be now. That's when I saw them. My parents, standing by the entrance, tight smiles. Dad in the same brown coat he's had for a decade. Mom in heels too high for mountain snow. They didn't say anything at first, just hovered like guests who didn't RSVP. I didn't go to them. I let them take it in. Ryan showed up 20 minutes later, hoodie, sneakers, and that half scowl like he was walking into a funeral instead of a party. He cut through the crowd, straight to the bar where I stood sipping whiskey. "You're trying to destroy us," he said, voice low. I didn't look at him right away. Just let the glass rest against my lip and stared at the flames across the room. "No," I said. "I'm succeeding." "You were just in the way." He blinked like I'd hit him. "You seriously think this is a win? Watching your family fall apart?" "I didn't watch it fall apart," I said. "You tore it down with half-baked ideas and zero follow-through. I just stopped waiting for a miracle." He shook his head, muttered something under his breath, and stormed off. I turned back to the bar. The bartender slid another drink my way without asking. "Good turnout," he said. "Yeah," I replied. "It's the right crowd." A little later, I saw my parents by the fireplace again, still not talking to anyone, just watching. Like they were finally realizing what it looks like when something's built right. They made their choice, and so did I. After the grand opening, the town lit up. Some people called me the traitor son, said I'd turned my back on my family, that I stabbed my brother in the back. Others, the ones who actually worked in hospitality, started calling me the smart one. Quiet compliments, handshakes in parking lots. A few stopped me in the grocery store just to say, "About time someone cleaned this town up." The local tourism board, they dropped me. Sent some official letter saying North Summit presented a conflict of interest with Pinecrest. I didn't argue, just tossed the letter in the trash and reworked my marketing strategy to go direct to guest. Emailed every past visitor. Set up Instagram ads, partnered with influencers passing through. We doubled our projections that month. Then, one Monday morning, Mom and Dad showed up at North Summit, not as guests, not for brunch. They just appeared in the lobby while I was going over invoices with my assistant GM. "Can we talk?" Mom asked. Tight voice, clutching her purse like it was the last thing holding her together. We stepped into my office. They didn't sit. Dad looked tired, not just physically, worn down in that quiet, soul-deep way. Mom did most of the talking. "Ryan needs help," she said. "He's overwhelmed. The staff doesn't trust him. The books are a mess." I didn't say anything, just crossed my arms and waited. She tried to soften it. "We're not asking you to come back. Just guide him. Help him fix things, quietly." Behind the scenes, I looked at Dad. He didn't meet my eyes. I kept my voice steady. "I offered help a year ago. Cole, you picked him," I said, cutting her off. "You made it clear where I stood. Now, live with it." Dad's face fell. His mouth opened, then shut. He looked at the floor. That hurt more than I wanted to admit. But I didn't budge. "You want me to fix what he ruined without the title, without the respect, without the authority. That's not help. That's a cover-up." Mom's eyes welled. "He's your brother." I nodded once. "And I'm your son." They didn't say another word, just walked out. That night, I slept better than I had in years. I didn't hear from Ryan after that day. No calls, no texts, no half-assed apology pretending to be a joke. And I didn't chase him. The line had been drawn, and this time, it stuck. A few weeks later, North Summit got nominated for Best New Boutique Lodge at the Regional Hospitality Awards. I didn't think much of it. Figured it was one of those good effort nods they hand out to keep the upstarts happy. Then we won. I stood on stage in a packed ballroom at the Grandview Hotel, trophy in one hand, the spotlight hot on my back. I scanned the crowd and saw my parents near the back, sitting at a corner table. Mom had her hands clasped tight in her lap. Dad looked like he wasn't sure if he was proud or pissed. Ryan wasn't there, not that I expected him to be. I cleared my throat, leaned into the mic. I want to thank the people who showed up when it wasn't easy. This wasn't just a project, it was a full-on resurrection. And the team I have, they didn't just believe in it, they built it. The crowd clapped. I kept it short. No big speech, just a nod to the past without naming names. Anyone who knew the backstory didn't need me to spell it out. Afterward, a journalist caught me near the bar. Local guy, notepad in one hand, glass of Cabernet in the other. "What do you think made North Summit stand out?" he asked. I didn't pause. "Sometimes," I said, "being underestimated is the best advantage a man can have." He raised his eyebrows and scribbled it down. That line ended up in the article, bolded, pulled as a quote, right next to a write-up roasting Pinecrest for declining service quality and unsteady leadership. Same page, same column, side by side. I didn't smile when I read it. I just folded the paper, set it down on my desk, and went back to work. After the article dropped, something shifted, not in the headlines, in me. I stopped justifying myself, stopped explaining decisions to people who never backed me when it counted. If someone didn't get it by now, they never would. And I finally stopped caring. The team at North Summit, they got it. Every single one of them. They were there for the gut jobs, the broken heaters, the snowstorms, where we ran out of salt and still showed up smiling for guests. We built this thing side by side. No handouts, no shortcuts, just work. They weren't employees anymore. They were family. We started hosting local events, wine tastings, trivia nights, small weddings. Partnered with the food bank for donation drives, built real ties with the community. The same town that once whispered behind my back now asked if they could use our lodge for fundraisers. Even people who used to judge me started showing up again. Old friends I hadn't talked to in years. One by one, they came through the lobby, said they heard good things, asked how I pulled it off. Some apologized, others just nodded like they finally saw what I'd been trying to do all along. I didn't need the validation, but yeah, it felt good. My mornings became ritual. Walk through the lobby before sunrise, smell the fresh coffee from the bar, hear the low murmur of early guests chatting about their ski plans. Look out at the mountain through those big glass doors and feel the cold air push against the heat inside. It was exactly what I pictured years ago, only this time, it was mine. The only difference? This one's mine. I didn't inherit it. I didn't wait around for someone to hand me the keys. I earned every brick of it. Every dollar, every inch, every bit of trust. Sometimes my mom would still text, random updates, pictures of Dad with the snowblower, an old recipe she found in a drawer. I'd reply when I felt like it. No drama, no guilt, just boundaries. And that itch, the one I used to have to prove myself to them, it was gone. I don't miss their approval. I just wish it hadn't taken me this long to stop chasing it. 3 weeks after the award, my parents invited me over for dinner. Just the three of us. No grandkids, no neighbors, no buffer. I went. Not because I was hoping for anything, but because I was curious. The vibe was off the second I walked in. The kitchen smelled like roast chicken, same as always, but Mom's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Dad stayed quiet, eyes flicking between us like he didn't want to be the first to speak. We sat, we ate. They asked surface-level questions. How's business? How's staffing? How's the weather up on the ridge? Then Mom cleared her throat and set her fork down. "We're proud of you," she said. "North Summit is remarkable." I nodded once. "Thanks." Silence stretched. Driving home, something snapped into place. Not anger, just a clean break. Like closing the cover on a book I'd read too many times. In the weeks that followed, I stopped over-explaining anything to anyone. No more defending my choices, no more second-guessing whether I'd done the right thing. I focused on the summit, on the team that showed up every damn day and gave a damn, on the guests who kept coming back because they felt like they'd found something real. Ryan stayed distant. No texts, no run-ins, no tension, just distance. And that was fine. I didn't need closure. I had traction. One morning, I stepped into the lobby just after sunrise. Light poured through the glass. Coffee brewed behind the bar. Guests huddled by the fireplace, laughing softly with skis at their feet. My staff moved through the space like they belonged there, because they did. I looked around and felt it hit all at once. I was finally home.